ship.
Titanic and Squid Game have a shocking amount of stuff in common.
They really do. Everyone's like, all the people in debt and the poor people die first. The rich people survive. Yeah, they're the same thing.
Oh man, that's funny.
Season 2 of Squid Game takes place on the Titanic. Yeah,
it's on the ferry.
It's on a cruise going back and forth. Oh yes. So everyone, you might notice that I am on Twitch right now, not YouTube.
What?
So
that's not what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, I'm on Twitch right now, not YouTube, because I forgot you have to verify your account for the stream on YouTube, and I did that yesterday, and it's a 24-hour thing. So
got it. We're still here.
We're still here though, and I was telling everyone tomorrow I'll be on Mixer, and then Thursday I'll be on Facebook.
You streaming on MySpace next week?
Yeah, catch me on TikTok Live on Friday. We'll all learn those dances.
That one might actually be real. Put that one in your calendars, folks.
Actually, I mean, TikTok Live is a thing, I think.
Farm Goat dancing on TikTok Live Friday night, 7 p.m.
Hell yeah. Squid Games
with Farm Goat.
Ruining exactly. Squid Games is just Fall Guys as a TV show. Yep.
You took the thoughts out of my brain.
Yeah,
I had that
blue.
same thought earlier.
Which Among Us imposters as the red card? Exactly. Squid Game is just all the pop culture mixed into one. Even though the dude wrote it. I feel bad for the dude. I didn't put this in the news, so we'll talk about it now. This is the warm up before the podcast, everyone.
Red leather, yellow leather. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who wrote Squid Games, I can't remember his name right now, because there's a lot of people and I can't remember names. He wrote Squid Games in 2008.
Yeah.
And now it just came out, which sucks that he had to wait that long for it to come out. But what sucks even more is now everyone's like, "Oh, you made the Hunger Games." It's like, well,
yeah.
You wrote it in 2008. You wrote it before this entire genre was a thing.
The guy's running
Battle
into
Royale
copyright issues that are nonsense.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll talk about it in news because there's not that much news this week. But it's like the #1 show in the world right now. Let me go turn my fan real quick and we can get this thing started and talk about Phantasm.
Your #1 fan.
Phantasm.
Oh man, what a great movie. Phantasm.
We watched Phantom of the Opera for this week, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It just shows you that like the middle managers of media suck. That we have like things like Squid Games like taking forever to get made. I think they said it was like too bleak or like it was too much in 2008. It's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, instead, we'll put out the kids edition, and
yeah, we'll put out Hunger Games,
where 2 people survive. Spoilers.
Yeah.
PETA can't die.
No.
But Rue, the kid, that's okay. You know what? Forget it.
I don't even know. Wait. Is everyone in Hunger Games named after a food?
Katniss? No.
I mean, is Katniss like an herb or something?
I think that's catnip.
You're right. But, like Rue and like PETA are both things. They foods.
Are.
I love what's his face's character? Whiskey. That joke would have worked better if I actually knew the actor's name, which I do know it. Oh my god, Zombieland. Woody Harrelson.
Yes.
Yes, we got it. When I read the stream title, I thought you said you were going to play Phasmophobia for a second. No, not this night.
Close, but no.
Is Farm Go to slowly losing it? I'm always slowly losing it. Let's start this podcast. Let's start this podcast. It's the spooky season, everyone.
I gotta turn my overlay off. Oops-a-daisies.
Oops. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Ruining Movies, the live movie podcast in which your hosts, me, Zach, and him, Shayne, all the way across the internet. Him, he'll say hi. Ruin your favorite movies. This week, we are ruining the 1979 cult horror classic sci-fi ghost story Phantasm.
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites too. It's fucking great. So we will be ruining that soon. But before we get into ruining it, okay, I guess I should explain. If anyone's new here, I always have to do this. If anyone is new here, we're ruining it by rewriting it in the genre of your choice, and by making it a remake, prequel, or sequel. But before we get into that, Shane, what have you been watching? Chat, what have you guys been watching? What's been going on media-wise in your head?
I watched Phantasm, I watched What If, and I watched Squid Game.
Did you finish Squid Game?
I did. I watched every single episode.
It's very good, isn't it?
It's very, very good. I cried.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
Like a baby. Multiple times.
It is very good. Did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
Subbed. Which
nice.
I thoroughly recommend to anyone who thinks they're going to watch this. One of the big complaints I've been seeing online is that I guess there's like a
translation like mix up or something.
Yeah, it's like kind of funky. Somebody was like, I'm not trying to be a snob, but like
the words are wrong.
Yeah, this kind of fucked up. And I was like, I don't think that's snobby. I think you're onto something.
Right, and, because that is like something no one ever talks about. Like, I prefer subtitles over dubbed like all the time.
Same.
But like someone could just be writing nonsense. And I wouldn't know.
And also, more than likely, in a lot of instances, I assume they use some kind of like automatic transcriber.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the literal translation of a thing is a lot different than like the conversational translation of a thing.
Right, because some things just don't translate. Like.
Right. So we've talked about this with Train to Busan. Like, if I could have a superpower, right, it would be the ability to like understand languages without having to take the time to actually like learn them.
Right, absolutely.
So that I could just watch a movie like this without subtitles and enjoy it in its native language. I think that would be awesome because it is different, and I miss those subtle nuances, and good on that person, I think, for picking it out. But overall, I thought the show was really fucking good. It wrenched my heart. It wrenched my brain. It was a lot.
It truly it's a very good show. It really gets you from the start too, and it does a lot of things you're not expecting. Like they literally like second episode, everyone's like, okay, games are over, and at that point I was just like, wait, you can just do that?
Yeah, same.
That's like what it really hooked me. Even though like Red Light Green Light was like pretty brutal.
Yeah,
it was really like they like actually had a choice, because that made the decisions in this show so much stronger, because it's like, yeah, you can all leave, and then like the whole speech of like your life is gonna suck worse out there, and like it actually proving the point that like that was true, like being in debt and all this, like all these like we talk social South Korean and social commentary all the time. Again, I would put this up with Train to Busan and Parasite.
Unfortunately, I still haven't seen Parasite, but I've watched a fair amount of like Korean media, and I definitely like the stuff that they chose to do with this show. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, it was. I like the Easter egg of our boy from Train to Busan, the first episode.
Yeah. That was funny, and he came back in the last episode.
Yeah, and hopefully next season he pops up a little bit more. Yeah, whatever, you cried for 3 hours. Yeah, it's just a very emotional show.
It was brutal, man. I actually had to like get up and step away from my computer. It's like there was a point in the show. It's like the marble game, right? That's really all I have to say for those of you that have seen it.
That episode is so hard. Oh my god, it's so hard to get through. It's
exactly what I knew was gonna happen, but I was not ready for it.
Right, and that's the thing, is like they set the premise is like there can only be one winner, and then they make you attached to like 6 different characters, and you're like, ah, shit.
And it's not just like a little bit of attachment.
No.
Like they go through some shit together. There's like some real bonding things that happen, team building experiences. They survive some like catastrophic shit, and it's like it's coming, but I couldn't brace myself for it, so it hit me like a hammer.
It really did. I truly believe the Marvels episode is like one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. Yeah,
it was just so well done.
It really was.
Yeah, the whole show is super well done. These like epic, like really immersive set pieces. They're just like so huge.
Yeah, that too.
Like I felt like player 457 sometimes.
Yeah, the world building was great because just like we always get those like dystopian like Hunger Games, like everything's bleak, but like it's like this, you're like walking through like the Harry Potter fucking staircase. It's like moving, but like bright neon colors. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was wild, and just yeah, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it. It's like hard to put into words. It made me feel a lot of things.
Yes. Here's my question to you and chat. Which game would you be able to make it to?
How far would I have made it?
How far would you be able to make it? I feel like I would trip in red light, green light. I think my nerves would get me and I would be out the first game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be lucky to make it past the first game.
Mm-hmm.
If I did. What was the second game? Was that the Honeycomb?
Yeah, it was Honeycomb.
Okay.
I would fuck that up too. Unless I got Triangle. If I got Triangle, I think I might be able to do it.
I'd have to be really lucky. And now I'm trying to remember the third game.
Tug of War.
That'd probably be the only one I'd might actually stand a chance in. But then again, I'd have to have
like the good
Ilman on my team.
Yeah.
And then I'd definitely be fucked on the glass ones. But there's the marble game. They said you can make your own rules, so maybe I'd do okay at that. I don't know. I think you're onto something
with the marble thing,
Yeah, that was really fucked. They all picked people they thought, and man, okay, the whole Ali situation.
Yeah,
spoilers.
Obviously, if anyone's listening to it right now, we're trying to dance around it, but we're gonna be talking about spoilers for Squid Game.
It's tough. The whole Ali situation, I was genuinely convinced.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, maybe he's on something. Maybe he does have a plan. And then I realized he was just turning heel.
Yeah.
And that sucked because he was he was the Kylo Ren of this show. and in the Marvels episode, he had to make a decision if he was gonna fucking waste Han Solo or not.
Yeah, and he did.
He did in a really
most devastating death in the entire game.
Yeah, arguably, because there are some characters that I felt really, really bad for the girl with the brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was pretty
the
fucked
top
up.
3.
Mm-hmm. And so there's also some weird things about the show that I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
Why go back?
I think it was the whole point. Things are worse. All those people are in super debt. It's they're either gonna go to jail or be in debt for the rest of their life. So it's it's their one chance, and a very drastic. I don't think I would go back, but I'm also not a billion won in debt.
True. I was talking about this with Onslow the other day, and it's I don't know. Did you get the impression that he was going back to play again, or that he was going back to be Batman?
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
I think he's going back to be Batman. I don't think he wants to play again. He has his red hair. He's an anime protagonist now.
True. But I was also saying to Onslow, in order to even get there, I guess he has the money to potentially have Batman resources, but just to get there, you'd have to be a player again.
Right. Which
so
it'll be interesting. I don't think they ever meant to set up a season 2, from what it sounds like. So now that it's the #1 show in the world, we're definitely going to be getting a season 2.
I like that it's kind of open for interpretation at the end a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It didn't totally do that Netflix thing. That's season 2,
right? Which is the amazing thing about it. We didn't get it didn't stop in the middle of the games. It wasn't done. Come see.
Yeah, or there's been a lot of Netflix shows that have done a totally buttoned up and complete thing over the course of 8 episodes, and in the last 10 minutes of an episode, they try desperately to like set it up for a sequel.
Yeah.
They know they have a whale, so they just kind of like push it in there, and I don't know. They didn't do that with this. I didn't think.
I honestly don't know think Netflix knew if it was going to be a hit or not, but it was. Some things in chat. Blue says if I got the umbrella honeycomb, I would cry. Same. I honestly don't even think I would try if I got it. I would just be like, I'm gonna eat this now. Just shoot me, I guess. We forgot to mention the Lights Out, which was like an unofficial game. I think I could survive the Lights Out. I think I would just climb really high.
Yeah, I would have definitely done the Ilman method and just like fucking got the hell out of there. Although they were just like straight up tipping beds over and shit.
That is true. You would really have to like, at least that way. Like I feel like it's even. I could probably like go out in a fight.
Yeah, and okay, so that's something else that I was thinking about. The fight or flight reflex.
Right.
Like, how often do people land on fight? And like, I get that these are really stressful situations, and they're underfed and malnourished, and they haven't been sleeping enough. So, but like, at what point do you just like decide that I'm not even gonna try? Right. So like, you have this so you get unlucky. You don't realize what game you're playing. You get the fucking umbrella, and you're like, oh shit, this is the premise of the game. I have to do this. If this dude pulls a gun on you, why don't you just like go at him? Most of these people just like take it.
That is true. That is something I was wondering. It's like, even like if that point, like you have to try something. Like you're dead. You're like, you're dead anyway. So at least try something.
I lost the game. My honeycomb broke. I'm 1,000% about to get shot in the face. I guess I'll just take one for what?
Yeah.
For what? Like at least try. Like I feel like there's so many fucking people in these rooms. We talked about this with Train to Busan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a pretty culturally relevant thing that like men have military training.
Yeah, in South Korea, a lot of men have. I think most men actually have some type of military training.
So we have reason to believe that out of 456 people, at least some of these people that are left have to be able to like defend themselves in some capacity. And have been trained to like withstand really harsh circumstances, major abuse and torture, like all this shit. But then like a gun gets pointed at their face and they're just done. I just don't understand how like in a game like Honeycomb, how is it that with like, you know, however many people were in the room and like a fraction of that is guards with guns, how is there not any sort of like hostile takeover?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's also like probably like a psychology thing, because there was that whole Harvard thing that happened where they divided people up into prisoners and guards, and they
for no reason. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Like there was that whole thing where like half the people became guards, half the people became prisoners, and the prisoners listened, and like the guards kind of took over, and like you kind of just. I don't know. I think it's a psychological thing, because it happens a lot. Is like people don't really have a chance to fight for their life. They just go out. So it's really hard to tell without being in that situation. But like I completely agree. Whatever says the face when you realize 1 billion won is over $800,000. I can't tell you how many times I had to like look up how much money was actually in play.
I never actually.
Like, okay, that makes sense.
I never really looked it up, but I was curious. So what was the number?
It's like, okay, let's look. I want to figure this out because I can't remember exactly.
Like 40 billion won was the winning amount, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So the other beef I had with this show isn't actually a beef with the show, more of a beef with our main character.
38 million.
And 38 million, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a huge amount of money per life. Got it. So anyway, it was actually phrased best by Onslow first. Bad on our main character for taking a year to get back to that girl's brother. Like, geez. I get that you're, like, sad and shit, but, like, geez.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can excuse that. We like, our character isn't, like, supposed to be the hero.
True.
He's a very flawed character.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Overall, though, I thought it was fantastic. Fantastic. I don't think I have anything like actually bad to say about it.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, whatever. They did show there was that one scene where the guy did try to fight, and he just got popped.
Yeah, and like that happened. I think it happened like once or twice too. But my thought was just like, I guess I would have just more than once I anticipated like a group response of a bunch of people being like and like a bunch more people getting taken out in that way. But I thought there would be more of like this prisoner versus guards thing, not just like prisoners existing amongst the guards thing.
Well, okay, now that I'm thinking about that, I think I understand why they didn't do that, because everyone there was at first made a choice to be there, and they all still think they can win.
That's true.
Like with the honeycomb thing, like they weren't all dying at the same time. Like you wouldn't die until you did it, so it's not like there was a bunch of people sitting around who had their cookies or honeycombs destroyed.
Right.
And we did see in the first game when a bunch of people did try to run or do something in green light, red light, they all just got massacred.
Right. It was also only the second game, so that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like there was a ton of opportunities for something like that.
Right, and then once you're like in the third game, fourth game, after like that big brawl and stuff, like you're already so far in. Like,
and
there's going to be no revolt there. It's a very interesting, very interesting idea with this game too. It's because it does kind of strip the contestants of their humanity to play these games, to see how far they will go for this money to get out of debt. I think that's also probably why it is the #1 show in the world right now. It's very like relatable to this world. Like there's so like this is to the extreme, but there are so many people, I think like a majority at this point, that are more in debt than anything in this entire world. So it's a very relatable show.
Definitely. And it's just so tactfully done. I do have one final question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that Cop Bro is dead?
I think if this was one season, yes. I think because there's going to be season 2, no, because the creator said he wanted to focus less on the contestants for season 2, and more on the police and the investigation.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know if there was going to be a season 2 or not as I was watching it. I didn't do any looking into things during. And I don't know. It just like he basically mirrored the shot that his brother took at him, and it wasn't like center mass or anything.
Yeah.
Just seemed like it was done in a way that, I don't know. I thought he was going to come back by the end of the season. That was my initial thought as I was watching. I
did too.
Deus Ex copy now, right? Like,
right.
That's coming, and it never did.
I'm very glad that it didn't happen, but I also yeah, same. I was like, okay, yeah. All right, so you said you watched that and Phantasm, and yeah, I mean that's a lot. It's only been a week.
Yeah, and that was like Squid Game was probably my primary media intake this week.
Yeah, I mean makes sense. There's a lot of it. Yeah. Okay. So what have I been watching? A lot of horror films. I could go through them all. I watched not on my list. I've been watching some films not on my list. I watched the remake of House on Haunted Hill. I think I talked about this last week. I can't remember if I did. It is like the most 90s fucking horror film I've ever watched.
Okay.
Came out in 1990. I want to say 1999. And oh my god, there was one song on the soundtrack that played like immediately that I was like, all right, I'm super sold.
Is it The Haunting?
It's called House on Haunted Hill, 1999.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that movie.
Yeah. Oh, it was Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
It starts with a Marilyn Manson song. And it's like, and then it ends with like a really slowed down Marilyn Manson song. It is not as good as the first one, but my god, does it encompass everything 90s horror. Everyone's just like the cool people. They're all wearing glasses. It has like a bunch of I don't want to like, this is gonna sound mean when I say like B tier 90s actors, but it's just like a bunch of 90s actors. There's that one guy from SNL.
Nailed it.
Chris Kattan.
Okay.
I had to look up his name. Chris Kattan. There was Taye Diggs, isn't it? Ali Larder. Jeffrey Rush, Jeffrey Combs, just like a bunch of people that like I don't know what they do anymore. I think they're in a bunch of television shows now.
Jeffrey Rush was in Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Oh, was it? Oh my God, is it that? That's what's his face? Yeah.
Yeah. I can't Google search. I hope everything's okay.
I can still hear you.
Well, that's good, but I can't Google search, so I'm riffing.
Good. Oh, James Marsters was there too from Buffy. But anyway, it was okay. Not as good as the original House on Haunted Hill, which is kind of hard. There was Jeffrey Rush trying to do his best Vincent Price, which was very bad. No one should try to do a Vincent Price because only Vincent Price could really do that spooky, creepy guy thing and kind of be charming with it. Everyone else just feels like a real creep. It makes you real uncomfortable. So yeah, I watched that. I also watched what did I now Google is down. Is Google down for like everyone? Oh my God, I think it's down for me too. No, it's not down for me. Maybe it is. I don't know. Who knows? I also watched Free Guy.
Nice. I heard that was funny.
It was, but it mostly forgettable. I'll say it's like a good popcorn flick. Like you don't know what to watch one night, you throw it on. I don't think it's gonna be like anyone's favorite film, if you know what I mean. Like no one's gonna be like Free Guy. Yeah. But like it was fun. Ryan Reynolds is charismatic. He can pretty much lead any film and you'll have fun with it. Taika was in it.
Nice.
Your boy Steve Harrington was in it.
Nice. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, it was good. It was full of pop culture. It was like if you took Ready Player One and made it even more modernized and like wasn't directed by Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Like that's kind of how Free Guys was. It's not on Disney Plus yet, but I took a trip to London to watch it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Now a word from our sponsor, ExpressVPN.
NordVPN. Which I used. Use it. It's good. And then I watched The Hunt last night.
Nice. I love that movie. It was so good.
The most recent, the 2020 one.
Yes. The one with Dennis Reynolds.
Yes. I think I would put it there with Free Guys. I didn't hate it. I
just thought it was really, really funny. Not even the jokes. Just like the pacing and what was going on. It was like Saw meets Most Dangerous Game.
Yes, I will agree with that. I thought the action was good. I think the killing was good. And the premise is ridiculous. The only thing I didn't like about it is like they did try to do the whole political thing. And it's really like over the top with it. Like so much that everyone's in super stereotype. Which is what they were getting at, but it also kind of felt like, all right, we get it. We know what you're doing. But other than that, like, had some decent kills.
The two things that stand out in that movie particularly are what you just said, like the kills and the pacing, and like what I was talking about, like the action and just like the thing. Like, because in the beginning I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I was like, oh shit, this is what's going on. Okay, cool. Yes. And then like when people started talking, I was like, okay, stop talking.
Right, yeah. That's like the weird thing about that film. Like, I don't, like, they really made it incredibly political, which is fine if you want to make your film that. But, like, it was just so stupidly, like, they weren't saying anything.
It kind of, like, lost me a few times. They, like, pulled me out of what I wanted to be in for what they were doing in the first, like, 25 minutes of the movie. Anyway, the other part that really stood out, mainly because like I've seen some behind the scene footage and stuff, is like the final fight between
Crystal and Athena.
Yes. Dude, that was just a good fight.
That was. No, there was a lot of like good fights in it.
It just stands out in my mind like throughout a lot of movies that I saw around that same time period as like just a standout fight scene. And
I mean, Betty Gilpin as Crystal like was a pretty damn good like final girl. Like she fucking kicked so much ass.
Yeah, and you know, I'm with team 1 or 2, whoever on The Office. I like Hilary Swank. So
wait, what?
That is her, right? No, it's Jennifer Greer. Jennifer Garner. Fuck. right?
In the film, it's Hilary Swank.
Okay, perfect. Yes. I can't Google, so
was
I'm
she
just
in The Office?
No, they do a little vote thing
Oh, they
on whether
do the thing
Hilary
as like
Swank
is
is
she?
hot.
Oh, she is.
But I don't. Most of the time that I see her in media, I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely.
So she stands out.
Yeah, it was okay.
But yeah, that's a cool movie. Anyway.
Yeah, I like I said, I put it up there with Free Guy. It was like it was not anything where I'm gonna be like raving about like it's being my favorite horror film or even my favorite like manhunt style film.
No, for sure. I will say I've only seen it one time, and like I'm probably not gonna go out of my way to see it again.
Exactly, but like it wasn't like I didn't regret watching it. It was like it was a good time. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. Other than that, like a bunch of like horror films. But like go to my YouTube and watch those because I'm not gonna talk about all those here.
That'd be a 7-hour podcast.
Actually, I gotta. Did we talk about Freaky last week podcast with the Vince Vaughn?
It was brought up. Yes.
I want to recommend that again. I watched that again.
Okay.
It's actually like one of my new favorite slashers. Okay. It's pretty damn good.
Cool.
All right, so let's move on to the news. We do not have too much news this week, which is kind of crazy because last podcast we had like 10 trailers to cover, and I don't think there was a single trailer that I could find.
Yeah, I haven't. It's been pretty slow. But before we get into the news, I just have to give a quick update for those of you that were curious or keeping up or wondering. I am now on the 5th movie in the Harry Potter series, Order of the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
It's been good. We've been making our way through it. It's been good. Personally, this was the fact prior to. I think the 4th Harry Potter movie is my favorite Harry Potter movie.
And what one is that?
The Goblet of Fire. It's the one with Robert Pattinson in it.
I think I did like that one. I think
for a lot.
It's like
of
the
reasons.
Hunger Games Harry Potter.
Pretty much, yeah. The Triwizard Cup. They all put their names in the Goblet of Fire. They go through this like really grueling tournament, and then spoiler alert for those of you that don't know Harry Potter: Cedric Diggory, Robert Pattinson, dies
and becomes Edward.
Because he becomes Edward for the next 3 years, and that's because Voldemort returns. So it's like that movie. It's my favorite for like a lot of reasons. I like the plot. I like what's going on. I like the characters. You know, it's typical Harry Potter stuff. It's well done and all those things. But also, it's just like a huge turning point in the mythos of Harry Potter. It's like it's basically when Harry Potter goes from being like kids movies to not so much kids movies.
Absolutely.
Like first time someone gets murdered, Voldemort comes back, Harry like has to grow up.
Is there a Christmas scene?
A summer. There's always Christmas scenes. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I've lost track at this point.
Yeah, same. I don't even know if I've seen them all.
They're good. I'm making my way through them, and it's been a process. But I don't want to take too much time on this. I didn't know if anybody was curious, so I figured I'd put that out in the universe. I'm on the 5th movie.
Hell yeah. First of all, hello, Ghost Hand. And the scene where his father cries in despair over Pattinson's character is wicked dark and also a marvelous piece of dramatic action. I do remember that scene. And you are right. I think, Shane, you are right. That is when it starts getting darker, which, I mean, I'm always into.
That whole movie feels like a giant transition piece. It's like in the beginning, it is kind of like goofy and weird, but not totally. But kinda, it's like silly. They go to the World Cup for Quidditch or whatever, and then like very quickly you meet the Death Eaters.
Did you ever play the Quidditch game?
No, oh my god, I can't fly on a broom.
No, I mean like if it was a video game, and not like. Did you ever play Quidditch? That was like the weird thing that people did in college campuses.
No, I did not.
There was like this really good like Quidditch World Cup game. I want to say like made in like 2004 that I played a lot of. Nice.
Hell yeah. Dummies play.
yeah, absolutely. There is a Dummies play game I do think we should play. It's kind of unrelated. It's called like Terrordrome, which is a fan-made horror action, like horror fighting game.
Okay.
Cool. And you can play as the tall man.
Hell yeah.
Like he's one of the fighters.
That's so awesome.
He throws one of the orbs.
Oh my gosh, I'm in love.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's amazing. So anyway, So then, like, within the first, 15 minutes of the movie, you're introduced to the Death Eaters straight away after, like, a bunch of fun-loving, fun-time magic stuff.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, it's, like, a little bit more fun-loving, like, oh no, things are bad, but we gotta get to Hogwarts and stuff. And then it's, like, magic things. And then, like, things start to get really fucking bad. Like, whoever said that in chat was absolutely right. Like, just throughout the movie, it feels like there's, like, wanes and woes. But by the end of the movie, it is just, like, all dark all the time. And now I'm on to the fifth movie, and you can tell, like, tonally, it's very different. It's not so happy-go-lucky all the time.
Right. I mean,
at all.
Ghosthand brings up it's the debut of the literal wizard KKK. I always forget there is, like, the wizard KKK in the Harry Potter universe.
A fucking real thing, too. Yeah, it's
like
fucked up.
Wizard Nazis.
Yeah, there's just, like, a lot of, like, weird moral flaws with the Harry Potter universe.
Absolutely.
You can make food, and yet world hunger is still a thing. Like, I don't know why
I'm pretty sure Hitler still existed. What
right.
you guys are doing?
Right, he's just fucking chilling out at Hogwarts, going to school. Anyway, that's besides the point. I'm just saying, I do like the movies and everything. I'm sure the books are great too. I have a bunch of them over here, but I haven't read any of them. But yeah,
nice.
It's cool. I'm excited to continue. Again, didn't want to spend too much time. I know there's a lot of Potterheads out there, so
Pothead,
hit me up on Discord or Twitter.
A lot of hairy heads.
News time.
Wait, before that, bro, the plot of Fantastic Animals is that a villain wants to stop the Holocaust. I heard that there is, like, a new Harry Potter that's, like, where, like, they want to intervene and they don't.
And where to find them?
Yeah, I
thought
did
that was
remember
all
hearing
before
that.
Harry Potter. It's like
right,
it's like
so
the
it
way
would
they
be
did
like
the
around
Hobbit.
World War II.
Okay, cool. Okay, so all right, fuck. Well, did they make a lot of bread and fix world hunger?
Whatever says save the world or learn how to make a feather float. The choices are hard. All right, I'm going to try to transition this into something serious. Let's do some news, everyone. Like I said, we don't have too many trailers, not that much fun stuff. I tried to grab some fun stuff.
No fun here. It's not fun.
We have four articles to go through. Starting with movies. This is movies and television. I wanted to bring this up because this is very big, and it could really affect movies and film and television. The IATSE, which is one of the biggest unions in Hollywood. It is the union for cinematographers, best boys, like electricians, PAs, ADs, people behind the camera. That is, like, the union they are in. They voted unanimously to authorize a nationwide strike by 98%. There are 60,000 people in that union. Have you ever tried to get any group of people to get 98% of people on board for one thing?
Goodness.
It is, this is a good thing. It is finally a bunch of people who are overworked. I can't tell you how many friends I have who are in the film world who moved to LA, and it's, like, completely normal for you to, when you first get there, to work, like, 18-hour days, like, 2 weeks in a straight. So this union and a bunch of people, the people who make your movies who aren't in front of it, the people who, like, are actually the backbone of the film industry, are trying to get a living wage, trying to make it safer for them to work. I actually read a statistic that, like, the week that they actually did this vote, there was 3 accidents where 3 people died from being overexhausted and dying in car crashes.
What the fuck?
That is how overworked these people are. So 2 days ago, they voted unanimously, 98% of 60,000 people, to say, hey, if you guys don't help make our lives easier so we can actually live a dignified life, make a living wage, that we are going on strike. So that is very big. I don't know if Shayne, you remember the reality show. Yeah, the writer's strike back in 2008. Yeah, so that was also very good. I know there was a lot of people complaining that we got reality TV shows and stuff out of it, but, like, these people deserve a living wage, and they deserve dignified work, and they deserve not to grind themselves to death to make our films. So I just wanted to say solidarity with them. I hope things work out for the best. And if you're on Twitter, don't be one of those guys who was like, but my movies won't come out for another 2 years if this happens. That doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. Just stop. So solidarity with them. Hopefully they don't even have to go to strike. Hopefully this is like I said, 98% of 60,000 people voted yes.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It's gonna take something pretty fucking mammoth to change that many minds in one foul swoop, so
yeah,
so hopefully they'll just back down.
Yeah, and give people what they deserve.
Which they should.
Which absolutely is.
Pay people for their work and let them live their lives.
Yeah, no one needs to work 16-hour days. Like, it's okay. Like Ghost Hand just said, I can live without 25 Marvel movies a year. We don't need that many movies coming out a year. Like, it's okay. True. Take a break, especially now after this pandemic. So I just wanted to start off with that. So hopefully things go well for them. And I mean, if there's a nationwide strike, it's nationwide. That means it's going to affect Atlanta, LA, Seattle. Like everything will be shut down. So
yeah,
it's exciting and it's really big. And
good luck and Godspeed.
Hell yeah. So the next thing we're gonna move on, like I said, there's not that much news. I couldn't even find like any like articles on like this new movie is coming out or like what's happening here. So I got some articles about horror stuff that are just like BuzzFeed notes. It's the smallest note. It's literally 4 things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, because it is October, the spooky month, is this article from Screen Rant that says Blumhouse CEO is just Jason Blum, which I do always forget that he just named his production house after his last name.
Don't you remember what happened to the last guy that did that?
Yeah, bad idea. Predicts what's next for horror movies. And I just wanted to read this quote and then talk about it. So, this is Jason Blum, which from everything I've heard is like a kind of like a pretty cool dude. Like Blumhouse Productions are like pretty good. Like I think The Hunt is one of them. Like they kind of and Freaky was. So like you win some, lose some. I think they're doing the new Halloween trilogy. But anyway, this is the quote: "The pendulum with horror usually swings between supernatural and very, very realistic. I think recently with Halloween, with The Purge, we've gotten fewer ghosts and more actual violence. Then it will swing back, so that certainly happens. What's more interesting about horror, though, is that it really reflects what's going on in society at the moment. I think they're going to be versions of, if not, it's not, wait. I think they're going to be versions of ... It's not literal. I actually don't know what that means. There's not going to be a disease movie. Oh, so he's talking about the pandemic. There's not going to be a disease movie, but I think everyone being inside in their house for such a long period of time will lead to great stories about that. So I'm looking forward to that. That's one of the things I think will be upcoming. So that really, I think that is true what he says. I think horror and society are always kind of reflecting off each other mirrors, because like fear, you want your fear to be based in reality. Because if you're like that, like if you put fear, like if you make it like something no one's gonna care about, like why would you be afraid of it?
Right. And oftentimes people write from their experiences, and life is fucking terrifying.
Absolutely. So I do think one thing's wrong. There's not going to be a disease movie. There's definitely going to be a pandemic movie coming out of the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not one already.
I'm pretty sure there was one.
Probably.
Like there was like let me see. Yeah, it was called Songbird.
Okay. Bird Box?
I think
It seems like whenever something big happens, Netflix has a Netflix original about it within like 3 months.
It's actually not Netflix. It is God. There was someone the person who directed it was produced by Michael Bay. So I guess so this came out in 2020, so the middle of the pandemic.
Nice, classy.
It's a Songbird. It's a 2020 American dystopian sci-fi thriller film based on the COVID-19 pandemic. It came out in 2020. Holy shit!
You nailed it. What the fuck?
The project was announced in May 2020. When did it come out? And it came out in December 11th.
What the fuck? We filmed for 2 weeks in the worst place ever. Oh my gosh. What the fuck?
I think Zendaya was in it. Zendaya was in another pandemic film that was more about like people, like a real life story about like people trying to like deal with like relationships during the pandemic, which is like good. Making a film about the pandemic that is still killing a lot of people and making it a horror film, not the greatest thing to make.
That's not classy.
It's not. It's pretty fucking shitty.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, they named the actual virus. No. This is the plot. Okay, this is the plot, everyone. By 2024, the COVID-19 virus has mutated into the COVID-23 virus.
What the fuck?
The world is in the 4th pandemic year. It is, in the United States, people are required to take temperature checks on their cell phones, while those infected with COVID-23, I think that's very funny, I don't know why, but the thing is called COVID-23.
Yeah, the name is funny.
Are taken from their homes against their will and forced into quarantine camps, also known as Q zones or concentration camps. What the fuck?
What the hell, Michael Bay? What were you thinking?
There's like some big names attached to this.
Oh man.
There's Demi Moore, Alexandria Daddario from True Detective.
Why haven't I heard of this? What's it called?
Songbird. Craig Robinson's in it?
What the hell? Okay, my Google broke.
I'll send it to you on Discord.
Google, please.
I gotta say, not the time or moment to be making this, people.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That sucks.
This terrifying thriller Songbird. What the fuck? Wait, YouTube movies. It's a YouTube movie?
Which, if that's true, that's even funnier. It made $400,000 in the box office, which is very funny.
This hurts my brain.
It really does. The weirdest thing is, who is this director? I've never heard of him. Adam Mason. He directed A System of a Down and Alice in Chains.
Michael Bay produced thriller.
I mean, that's the only thing that doesn't surprise me about this, is that Michael Bay produced it.
This is, the word I think I was looking for was tacky.
Yeah, it's very tacky. Sounds like something Alex Jones would come up with. Yeah, I was kind of, surprised that at first, when I remembered this, that it wasn't like, a Kevin Sorbo film. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's Sorbo. He's the person who makes like he was Hercules, but now he makes a bunch of like right-wing shows, movies such as like God's Not Dead and stuff.
Okay.
Which I thought like this would be a film he would make, but it wasn't even him. So what?
I'm just like watching the trailer with no audio. This is like,
you know what? I'm proud of us all for not watching this.
Yeah, I didn't even know this thing fucking existed, and honestly, it's like I'm not even mad that I didn't know it existed.
I don't want to watch that. That sounds awful.
No, it's like
COVID-23.
Yeah, like the name of the virus that they have contrived is hilarious.
Come up with like a fake one. They could have even done that. They could have like, they literally made it about what is happening, and then they were like, "This is what's going to happen in the future. Everyone be scared."
And it's just there are a lot of people out there suffering still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a lot of people. So it's like, I don't know. Just fucked up.
I mean, this one line does make me feel better. It was overwhelmingly panned by critics who considered this film fear-mongering propaganda. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Why would you make that? QAnon the movie coming out in 2022 exactly. Like, where's the God? Now this begs the question: like, when was the first 9/11 movie?
That's a good question.
And did Michael Bay produce it?
It was a Netflix original that came out the following December. No, I'm just kidding.
So Netflix was around.
But that's what I'm saying. They do that shit. I've seen it. I can't remember what the event was. It might have been like the Boston bombing thing.
Yeah, they did have that.
Just like within a few months or something. It was like, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy fast. Like, why? Seems like there should be some kind of like fucking grace period. You think the people's families don't have Netflix accounts? Like, Jesus Christ.
They didn't make Titanic.
Right.
After Titanic happened.
Okay, but to be fair, like, Netflix wasn't
You're right.
around in like
if the Titanic happened in the last 20 years, we would have a Titanic movie the same year.
Yeah, if the Titanic happened today, by the end of the year, there would be a Titanic movie.
Absolutely. Oh my God. And there was like that Clint Eastwood film like about like that like train hijacking in France where some people died and then they like made the movie in like the same year also.
Jesus.
We have fiction for a reason, people.
Right.
Use your imagination, please. So Jason Blum, you're wrong there. People have already made it about COVID-19. But I think what I really wanted to talk about before we went off on that tangent, remembered that, is we have been getting a lot of these, like, how does he word it, like, physical violence horrors lately.
Yeah, less cerebral.
Yeah, like Halloween, Purge. I know we're getting Scream in 2022. I think there's a new Chucky coming out. Which, I mean, I guess Chucky is supernatural. Unless it's the new Chucky, then it's robots.
But it's like still, like, I think at its core, Chucky's it's like a slasher.
Right, that is still physical. He's not killing you with magic. You're right. You are right. I don't know. What is everyone's opinion on this? Like, I guess not even opinion on that, because I think that is true. I think we'll be getting more supernatural. But, like, what kind of horror does everyone prefer here? I think I'm more into the supernatural, spooky, ooky ghost horror, even though I do like a good slasher.
I like something that is, like, cerebral or surreal.
Yeah, like psychological.
Yeah, maybe with, like, a little bit of violence, but it doesn't have to be, like, too over the top.
Kind of like Annihilation.
Annihilation's a really good example. Midsummer's a really good example.
Ooh, that is true. I do really like those.
Those kind of, like, just stand out in my mind as, like, a couple decent ones that I really enjoyed. But, like, there's tons of movies like that like, focus way more on, like, fucking with your mind more than, like, more than anything else. And I kind of like that. It's like, although in a movie like Midsummer, it's like to really push the idea that it was a horror movie, they did kind of lean on gore and violence a little bit and, like, shock, but only in, like, one instance.
Yeah, is it the bear suit scene?
No, it's the hammer scene.
Oh, yeah.
Like, up until that point, like, you might think, like, they're on some kind of vacation and
they're all just hanging out.
Yeah, and then it's like, damn, shock, horror, gore. Now you kind of see what's going on, and it's still, after that, it's very focused on, like, the psychological side of things. That's kind of where I'm at. Although, like you said, I loves me a good slasher. It's hard for me to pick, like, a favorite, like, subgenre of horror in the same way it's hard for me to pick a favorite subgenre of metal.
That is very true. Very true. Whatever says I sort of like both equally like slasher to be entertained and ghostly to get the goosebumps. I you know what? That's probably where I stand. I love films like Scream because they are very entertaining and very fun films. Like, they are slashers. People die in them. I think Halloween's kind of the same.
Sure.
But it's like the two heads of a coin. Like, slashers are very fun. Slashers don't scare me, which helps. Like, yeah, because that'd be kind of if I was in a slasher film, I would be like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. I'm in a slasher film. I'm dead. I'm that guy who knows too much about movies. I'm what's his face in Scream 2. And then ghost films I like because I don't know how to fight ghosts. You know? So
I like ghost movies because in a fight with a ghost, I'm fucked. So
I like slashers because you know what? Maybe I'll survive. Ghost films, I'm dead.
I like cult movies because in a fight with a demon, I'm fucked.
Exactly, I'm fucked. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about this article that I'm just reading now because it's on the bottom of the page. They're making a Five Nights at Freddy's film.
I saw that, and we had spoken on a previous podcast about
video games,
something in relation to that because that company was put under some like scrutiny, and we thought maybe it'd be taken off the Xbox Game Pass. And
oh yeah,
remember that? Now we're hearing that there's a possible movie on the way.
Oh yeah, I think like the owner sucks. I can't remember why though. That also sounds like heresy. If that's wrong, that's libel if he's wrong. I don't know. Allegedly, he might suck. I can't remember if that's what we were talking about.
We talk about some stuff, and it's all maybes. But the idea is, allegedly, no matter who's behind whatever, the title isn't doing whatever is being allegedly done.
Yeah,
so like having a Five Nights at Freddy's movie doesn't seem that crazy as long as the people behind it aren't that crazy, like aren't doing things allegedly. Maybe.
Oh, for 6 years. Oh, so this has been a thing for like in the making. Whatever, saying that we've been waiting for it for 6 years, all in caps.
Wow, they are the Five Nights at Freddy community and fan base is a diehard one.
I know. I'm actually like scared to play that game.
Same.
The game actually looks pretty scary.
And you can play it in VR.
Yeah, VR. I'm too. Well, I don't own VR first of all, but also very scary. Yeah. All right. Well, moving forward to another article, still on Screen Rant, because this is like, it's kind of crazy. This episode I've probably done the most research on for finding news. It took me probably like 3 times longer because there was no news. So this is kind of a very BuzzFeed style article. It is Sinister dethroned by host as scariest movie horror movie ever in a new study. So according to the Science of Scare study, 2012 Sinister slipped into the number 2 spot for scariest horror movie ever, narrowly losing to 2020's host. I don't even know what that is.
This is too funny. Okay, let me read this bottom part here.
Yeah.
Because this is so funny. It ties right into what we were talking about. Host brought horror a little too close to home with its pandemic-era premise of a haunting held via Zoom.
Oh. Okay, I gotta say, there's in the last like 10 years, we've been getting these found footage films of people like on a computer in Zoom calls. They're always pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, they're like modern found footage films, and I think they're pretty brilliant. I know a lot of people, like, when they first came out, they were like, oh my god, this is so cheap and like corny. Like, I think they're pretty like smart. I didn't even know this was a thing. But yeah, they made it So I guess Host 2020 is about a Zoom call, but someone's haunted. It says it follows a group of friends who are terrorized by an evil spirit after holding a remote seance. Well, that's why I just got to do it in person. And it was a quarantine film.
That's what I'm saying!
Yeah. There's going to be a lot. Jason Bloom, you got some stuff wrong here. You said you don't think there's going to be some, but there is some.
You're over 2, bro.
So,
wait, did we just spend the whole podcast like... just proving this man wrong?
That's the entire podcast. We'll see you guys all next week. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this. I was really hoping this would give us a list on the top site. Okay, I'm going to try to find the Science of Scare's top 20 list to see what, like, scientifically is the scariest movies ever. Which I do gotta say, this said... like how they did the study is they kept everyone's beats per minute with their like heart things. And it said everyone had a resting heart rate of 62. My heart rate's never 62. It's always like 70.
You found that many perfectly healthy individuals?
Right.
Was this done in America?
Yeah, it says the resting average of a BPM of 64. Like, I think I have to be incredibly relaxed to get it to 64. Right. Like, I have to be chilling.
Average resting heart rate. Let's see if my Google works. Nope. I'm not dying, Google. Oh, fuck.
We're really going everywhere tonight.
Yeah. Well, so there's a second.
For our age, the average for our age is 71 to 74. Who are these people with 64?
Yeah, are these fucking, like, marathon runners? Like, yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay, is that... I just want to know the average resting heart rate of people in America now.
Okay, average resting heart rate, America. Right, okay, this makes me feel better that my heart's not gonna explode.
You said average is what? Wait, before you tell me that one, what was the other one you read?
The average is like between like 68 and 74.
Okay.
Which that's where mine sits, so I'm not worried.
Okay.
This is what so not just in America. And it says the normal heart rate is between 60 and 100 beats. As long as it's like between that, you're fine.
Between that, you're alive. I don't know about fine.
Everything says it's fine. I couldn't find an American one, but so we'll raise it by like 5 or 6 for America. So we'll say average is like 76 for America. Everyone's stressed here or been eating a lot of fast food. So first of all, where are you finding like that many people with a 64? Like, you're right. Do they go to the end of a marathon?
Right. We asked a bunch of NFL running backs if they wanted to watch scary movies.
Yeah, really. But anyway, here is the list. So, according to science, they rated this by how many heartbeats they were raised, how scared they were. So the host 2020, an average of 88 beats per minute. Okay, I feel like if I'm scared, it's like in the hundreds. So again, are they just like the bravest, fittest people in this test?
Okay, I take back what I said about the NFL players. It's like we had 150 Marines watch a bunch of scary movies.
Yeah, really. Second Sinister 2012. That is a pretty scary movie. I will give them that. 3 Insidious, 4 The Conjuring. Okay, these are all James Wan films.
Yeah.
5 is Hereditary at 82 beats per minute. I can tell you heartbeats, only 82 heartbeats an entire film. I could say me watching Hereditary, my beats per minute was probably like 300, especially during some scenes.
I haven't never seen Hereditary.
It's a very stressful film. Terrified 82, I don't even know what that is. It Follows 2014, 81. Okay. A Quiet Place Part 2. These are like a bunch of like, what films do they show? Like, this is a weird group of films. Paranormal Activity at 80. I think Paranormal Activity should be a little bit higher. The Conjuring 2, The Babadook.
I think you guys should have been more afraid of that movie. That's what you just said. It should have been higher. I think you should have been more scared.
You should. Paranormal Activity 1 is terrifying. The Descent, also very terrifying. Hush. Yeah. A Quiet Place. Okay, if I'm rearranging this, I think like Paranormal Activity and like A Quiet Place are up higher, because those are both very terrifying films. And actually, The Ring should be number 1. That's the most terrifying film.
Yeah, so maybe this is what we do, right? We get a bunch of our friends and a bunch of heart rate monitors and a bunch of scary movies.
And figure out who has heart
disease. The movies on this list specifically, and just rearrange them according to our friend group.
I mean, it's like films from the last 20 years, except Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween. Those are the only 3 horror films on this list before 2000. You're missing a lot of very scary horror.
Yeah. And at this point, if you haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you've seen the original, or I'm sorry, if you haven't seen the original Texas Chainsaw and you've seen any other horror movie like that was made in the last like 25 years, you will think that movie is probably funny.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is kind of funny.
It's good. I like it. It's a classic. Leatherface
funny,
is like
though.
one of my all-time favorite like scary movie characters.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great film too. It's such a good film.
Yeah, it's so good. He was my Mortal Kombat main, and I also play him in Dead by Daylight, and like the cinematography in that movie is just so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, it's so cool. But anyway, it's just kind of funny now and it's not because it's a funny movie. It's just because I've seen so many other scary movies that are so over the top and crazy and have scared me in so many different ways that Texas Chainsaw Massacre just isn't gonna hit like it would have back when it came out.
That is very true. There is like a bunch of, I would say Alien should be on this list though. Alien is an extremely stressful film.
Yeah. Yep. I can agree with that.
And I feel like if you put Alien on this list, it might actually be number one because when Ripley's going through the vents, it's like one of the most terrifying, like I think, scenes in any horror film of all time. Yeah,
I actually just watched that movie like in like recent memory in the last like few years, and it was intense. It was really good.
It really is. You haven't seen most of the original films, whatever. I recommend them. There's that's a good thing about horror is like there's a lot of really good horror like from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
I think 90s. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is better than the remake, but like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
remake.
Yeah, but those movies they just get like the original series just it's like so much so ridiculous like. As it goes on, there's like a bunch of issues with things that
there's a bunch of like really strange characters. They like the radio people, and I think too.
Yeah, they were interesting movies, but like the first one is just so good, and then like when they tried to remake the first one, it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was that. So we have one more TV news, which we kind of already talked about. So I don't even know if we need to cover it that much. Squid Game, most popular show in 90 countries.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Deservedly so.
We talked so much about Squid Game earlier. I don't even think we need to talk about it now. It is very cool that this show is like not just like a cult favorite. Like it is the number one show in the world right now.
In the world.
And it is gory, and it is Korean. It's not even English. So that's awesome. That's really cool.
It's so good.
I know Netflix, other countries are forcing Netflix to like make more localized shows, and I think this is like now a thing that they can take to Netflix and be like, hey, this Korean drama is the number one show in the world.
Yeah.
Let us make more localized television because it will do very good.
Yes.
So, hell yeah.
Netflix, spread your wealth. I want more stuff of this quality from everywhere.
Absolutely. Because this rules. And if like this is like only one country, like we already know South Korea is very good at making horror films, and just like South Korea, I think like is probably my favorite country to have films come out of in the last 30 years. I mean, some of my favorite artists are from there too. They're just really, I honestly don't know why it seems like they have these like big cultural touchstones that come out of there that are really good. I kind of want to do some research into that. And then they also have K-pop, which feels like the opposite of Squid Games.
Yes. I think that creativity is a global phenomenon.
Absolutely.
And I think that with a company like Netflix, some creators don't have access to the same resources as other creators, and with someone like Netflix, like they can give them those resources in a way, or give them access to those resources. So
yeah, and then we get
do more
Squid
things.
Games. I mean, and also Netflix, you just made so much money off of Squid Games. You should realize this now.
Do more things.
Yes. All right. Talking about original ideas that are crazy. It's time to talk about the movie of the week, everyone.
I thought we were going to talk about What If.
Oh my god! Yeah,
original crazy idea.
I didn't just say that. We're talking about What If. I was wrong. I thought it was the last episode last week.
One more ep. One more app.
I'm going to yell at Disney for a second. They didn't say anywhere that there was going to be 9 episodes, so I made a butt of myself. But I am very glad there's going to be a 9th episode because I watched last week's episode and I was like, really? Cliffhanger? Really?
Yeah. I will say they marveled it, but in like the best way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was so good. Laser fight, but it was so cool.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give them that. Like, they did marvel it. They just made like a fight between a watcher, the god who watches, and is very metaphysical and meta, and they had him punch Ultron a lot, but it's animated, so it looks sweet as fuck.
Yeah, and we talked about this like in the very beginning, before the show even aired.
Yeah.
What's going to make this show cool is the things that you can do with animation that you can't do with live action, or that would be insane to do with live action. And it's like, yeah, I got to watch Ultron punch the Watcher in and out of different realities. That was fucking cool.
Okay, there's one. Keep talking. I need to find this quote real quick.
I just don't know if that would have been the same seeing it in a live action scenario. And before all of this, I also said that I think that this show is designed to make this transition phase into a literal multiverse of madness with infinite possibilities and timelines a lot more palatable for like your average audience, or in the case of like a Disney audience, your audience that sits within like an average age range. So like it's a pretty complex, like almost metaphysical idea in and of itself to have like quantum universes and all this other crazy stuff. So a cartoon that can kind of just like lay it out real plainly is just a great way to do that. And now they're really getting into the meat of it, and they're able to show it all with like a lot of flair. And I like that.
So my question before I get into my favorite quote of the episode is, where do you rank this in the 8 episodes that have come out so far?
I think I have to rank it my second favorite, because there is no this episode without the Doctor Strange episode.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's my second too.
And then I think my third favorite is probably Party Thor.
Party Thor is great, yeah.
And I think it's going to stay there only because I'm pretty certain of what's coming in the next episode.
Yeah, I was spoiled a little bit. I saw a little bit of it.
I didn't watch the sneak peek thing, but I hovered over it with my mouse and it showed me a few frames, and I was like, okay, I don't want to see any more of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I kind of think I know it's not what's about to happen, but like the direction that Party Thor is about to take, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I think for that reason it will stay in third, and then this finale might live in fourth place.
Yeah, I think my top 3 are definitely What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands. I think that's a great episode of television.
So well done, man.
So good. I think What If Ultron won second. I think third has to be What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes, because I like Ant-Man Serial Killer.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of great episodes, to be honest.
They're good.
And
they're
like
good, yeah.
The only reason that these are even getting placed higher on the list is because, like, in my mind, they're the ones that are the most greatly influencing what's coming.
Oh, absolutely.
But that doesn't. I'm not trying to take anything away from the rest of the episodes. Like, obviously, they've all played into one another, and they're all.
I think we'll be getting a little bit of each episode in this finale. And I think so too. I think absolutely. So I found my favorite line. It is it's when the Watcher was monologuing and he was like, "I've seen everything that has ever happened, ever could happen," and he's like, "And what the hell is this?" Which was very funny.
Yeah, I like that they're doing a lot of different stuff. You know, and that's part of why that Doctor Strange episode stands out in my mind, because it's bold of them to present the idea of the complete and utter destruction of a universe.
Yeah,
like, you know, we've talked a lot about how like Disney doesn't say kill.
Yeah.
But like, you
People
know, there's
killed.
that. There's that. So
yeah.
That's a real thing. And I think that that's kind of cool. You know, they're kind of setting the tone for things to come too. Things are getting a bit darker, a little edgier, because you know around the corner here, not before you all know it, Deadpool 3 is going to be in front of you.
Did you didn't see? You haven't been spoiled by Venom 2 yet, have you?
No, I have not.
God damn it.
Yeah, okay. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Did you watch the movie?
No, I didn't. But the post-credit scene was everywhere, and it's. I don't want to say. I won't say anything, but it is very big, and I have words about it, but I'm not going to spoil it for you.
I've had some things spoiled for me, but
which were
nothing. No, nothing like worthwhile.
Okay.
Just that there was a local
there has been
fan,
no Quicksilver. You're right.
That there was a local fan favorite musician that had a song in the.
Eminem.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out Eminem, Mom Spaghetti. Go there if you're anywhere near Detroit.
Oh, not an ad. Not sponsored.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I thought it was cool, and I think that this show has like far surpassed my expectations in terms of specifically like the implications that it will have on future things.
So, okay, one more question before we move on to Phantasm. So I know we haven't had the last episode, and this again goes out to anyone in chat too. We haven't had the last episode of What If, but out of all the Marvel shows, what are they ranking for you? Like, where would you put them in order? So, reminder to everyone, we've had WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and now What If. I don't know if I'm missing one. I think that's it.
Kind of regardless of how this finale turns out, I feel like What If and Loki are kind of like tied for first for me. And I know that that's probably a cop-out, but again, it's like I'm leaning on this idea. Since the beginning of all of this, since the beginning of this podcast and all of these fucking Disney shows, I've been saying that all of this shit serves a purpose of like bridging the gap between what's going on before and what's going to be going on.
Oh, absolutely.
So these two shows, I think, have had the most major impact on like the future of what's to come in the MCU.
Yeah.
And not to say that the other two shows didn't. Obviously, like WandaVision is going to be doing some things in the future, but like more specifically with one film that we know of for sure. And then Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Captain Falcon.
Falcon Punch!
Captain Falcon! Anyway, like the main thing that we got out of that is like get over your fucking Chris Evans crush. Like there's a new Captain America in town.
Hell yeah.
So like with Loki and What If, it's like these are the shows that are like clearly kind of painting the picture of what's to come.
Yeah.
Obviously it's in a pretty vague way, but for that reason, like I'm leaning on my bridge theory and like they hold the number one spot because like they're like the pillars of this bridge.
Yeah, I agree. I think Loki's still number one for me. I think it was a good show.
I loved it. I thought it was so good. And also Tom Hiddleston like has just like etched away into my heart.
He's so good. I think if I had to do it, it would be Loki, What If, Falcon, and then WandaVision.
Yeah, I think mine's the same except tied for number one.
Yeah, I
think I put Captain America above WandaVision, but I really did enjoy them all so far. It's just like we've talked about our gripes with these shows, so I don't want to get too much into it. But like,
definitely,
I have my reasons. See previous podcasts for them.
You'll see. Yeah, you'll hear our complaints about WandaVision and Falcon and all that stuff.
But yeah, I agree. Except I'm tying up What If and Loki.
I mean, that's fair. They're both great.
Their implications on future stuff.
We'll see how Hawkeye does.
I'm surprisingly excited. Also, Black Widow comes out on Disney Plus tomorrow.
Oh, does it really? Are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, I plan on it.
All right, I'll probably watch it too.
I'm actually more excited about it now than I have been since I knew that it existed.
Well, yeah, because now you're able to watch it.
Yeah, for no money. I get to do it for a subscription price.
Let me know when Shang-Chi is out, though. I don't want to watch that.
Dude, I've heard such good things.
I know, but I don't want to... It'll come to Disney Plus eventually. It says, November 12th. That's not that far away, actually. What the fuck? Shit. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, so let us move on to the movie now. I don't think I have a segue here, so let's talk about Phantasm, everyone. This is the movie of the week. It was a Shane pick. So this is the 1979 Phantasm, directed and written by Don. Oh God, I should have learned his name. Coscarelli. He's Italian. And it is you describe Phantasm. I did a whole review on YouTube, and I don't even know if I described it correctly.
Yeah, Phantasm is a movie about a group of friends and siblings that have to deal with a local funeral home that is like body snatching to create underlings for its superiors.
Aliens.
That's pretty much the first movie. But yeah, so I've watched the whole series. And like after having learned more about it, that's like the best way of saying it, right? Like there is a superior man, a tall man, if you will, that rules over a bunch of little men.
He's an
that
alien.
Are very small, and he is a powerful being of like ultimate evil.
Alien.
That comes from another planet, or possibly another dimension.
Still an alien.
Maybe. Is something from another dimension an alien if its dimension is still on Earth? Like if another Shane from Dimension 624 comes here, is he an alien?
Yes. Maybe. Okay. I don't know, actually. Fuck. Maybe.
Okay, just making sure. So, and his goal is to create these little underlings.
Jawas.
And they torment our main characters. And dude, it's just a ride. It's an interesting trip. And after having watched it again, I was like, man. So I've actually only seen them all one time.
Have you seen the 2016 one?
Yes.
Nice.
It's interesting. It's there.
It's a good way of putting it.
I think that now that you've seen the first one, it's like worth it to watch the rest of them.
Oh no, I'm definitely going to.
Because something crazy that I realized about this movie, unfortunately, like I said, for some unknown fucking universal reason, my Google's broken, so I can't back my statements with anything. But this movie came out, and then like a couple years later, the sequel came out, and then so many years later,
it's been every 10 years.
Okay, so every 10 years. Yeah, even between the first and second one.
Because I did a review on YouTube for it. So it's 1979 was the first one, and then like no one really cared about the movie because it is the definition of a B horror cult classic.
Yeah.
No one cared about it when it came out. Then 1980, I want to say 6, the second one came out. Then 1995, the third one came out. 2006, the fourth one came out. Then 2016 was the fifth one.
Okay.
So it's been pretty much every 10 years.
Almost every 10 years. So, but what's crazy is, first of all, I think that the second one is where the shit really gets good. My dad actually has a theme song as his cell phone ringtone.
It is a very the music reminds me of Suspiria so much.
Yes. And it gets better with the second one because, like you said, no one seemed to care about the first one. But being that there was a 10-year gap, it's kind of like the way I think about Evil Dead, right? Like, they must have like picked up a cult following, right, and made up enough money to be able to make this second movie and make it even better. Because that's like exactly, in my opinion, what happened. They kicked it up to 11, and the second one is just a fucking banger. The first one's like very good
for sure.
The second one's cool, and it's strange the way that they made this movie because, like, when you watch the second one, you know that it's so much older, but like, it feels like a fucking like a experiment on these people. Like,
right, because it's the same like actors.
Yeah, it's the same actors all the way up until current day, until 2016.
Except for Phantasm 2, in which Mike's character is played by someone else, and then it goes back to the original actor in Phantasm 3.
Which is super weird. I don't know.
That is super weird.
With that. See, I knew all this stuff like the last time I watched all these a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's all escaped my brain. You're right. There was like a switch for some reason, but he does come back. Anyway, but it's strange because you'll notice if you continue to watch this series, they talk about shit, or they do flashbacks, or they do whatever, and you're just like, man, how in the fuck did they keep this secret for this like 8 to 10 year period? Like there's one point when they show like some major plot things in the form of a flashback, and you're just like, man, and it's of Mike from the first movie, and you're just like, how in the fuck did this kid keep this secret for fucking 10 years or whatever? Yeah. It's just crazy to me, and it felt like some kind of like experiment on their cast, like, and they keep this shit under wraps until 2008 or whatever when our last movie comes out.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, but anyway, back to the whole first movie thing. Quick and easy plot is family experiences death in a family, leads them to funeral at funeral home, see sus things, investigate sus things, and then they learn a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I think I'm gonna read this Wikipedia like plot sentence because I think this is a good way to put it, because this movie is very strange and it's very hard to describe. The residents of a small town have begun dying under strange circumstances, leading young Mike to investigate. After discovering that the town's mortician, only known as the Tall Man, is killing and reanimating the dead as misshapen zombies, Mike seeks help from his older brother, Jody, and their friend Reggie, a local ice cream man. Working together, they try to lure out and destroy the Tall Man, all while avoiding his minions and a deadly silver sphere.
Yes.
That's the film.
Yeah, I just want to say, on the note of me having seen all this shit and they're like beloved movies to me.
Yeah.
Reggie, best character.
I mean, I could see that even from the first one. Reggie
best
rules.
Character.
I like the little jam session they have in just the middle
that
of the film.
That was such a cool thing, and after watching it again, like I said, this is only the second time. So the first time I was just like so wrapped up in the movie, and this time I was like, damn, these guys are fucking good. Like,
they really are.
Cool.
It really, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, but they did a great job.
Did you know, this is a fun little trivia fact that I learned. Did you know Captain Phasma from Star Wars is named after this movie?
Really?
Yeah. J.J. Abrams said, Phasma I named because of the amazing chrome design that came from the wardrobe. It reminded me of the ball in Phantasm. And I really thought Phasma sounded cool.
Damn, that is fucking awesome.
Yeah, so
I didn't realize how much of a backing this movie had. I thought I was just
It has like a lot of it has a big legacy.
Man, that's awesome.
Because
I love it.
Yeah, it's like in the ranked number 25 on the scariest movie. Actually, there was like the one scene where he's walking and says "boy," that's like ranked as one of the scariest scenes. Which they should sue God of War. This is where boy comes from. Boy.
There's a couple parts in that are just like. There's the part. It got me today when I watched the movie when. The first time that you see like through the eyes of the sphere.
Yes.
And like the screen goes red and it's like, and he's just like speeding through the fucking like crypt. That when it first hit, it like scared me. It's like, dang, this movie like even now it still gets me.
Yeah, the music's so good too. It's just like it's like the band is just jamming in the background the entire time. It's so good. Also, this trivia says Slender Man was also based off the Tall Man. So
okay, hell yeah,
boy.
Hell yeah. The Tall Man is awesome. He's such a cool antagonist. And,
I like how the entire journey starts when he lifts up a coffin, and that's
so
the thing where everyone's like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, he's like, I love the way they talk too. He's like, "Are you?" He's like, "Are you shitting me? That's one strong mother."
Yeah, the dialogue is so good, and I like how Mike's just fucking chilling, spying on everyone.
Yeah, he's so a weird kid, but he's an adult, right? Like, he drives the fucking Cuda,
right?
And he swears and shit. Like, he's just one of the guys. It's so funny.
He's so good. But yeah, Reggie rules.
I cannot wait for you to watch the second movie.
This has a little bit of everything. It has aliens, it has zombies, it has a car that's trying to kill you that's actually driven by an alien zombie.
Yes, and above all, it has mystery.
It has mystery.
Because, like, you don't even know, really, if any of the things that you said are true, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
I still don't know if they're true.
Yeah, it's a very fucking... I called it a Lynchian horror film, and I'm standing by it. It's very cerebral and very, like, what is happening. It's very dreamlike.
Yeah.
It even reminds me of 2001 because all those, like, very sterile set pieces. Which are, like, those sets are so weird to me.
Man, when they go into like the sterile room with the tuning fork teleporter and like the barrels,
yeah, like you're watching a different movie at that point.
Yeah, I literally felt like I got teleported to another fucking universe. But also, it made me think of a couple things like Phasmophobia, Forewarned, all these things where it's like you go into an area and it's just like this droning sound. I was watching it with headphones on, and it's just like. It was just so unnerving, just whoa, like this one tone for like the whole. It was like it must have been like a 3.5-4 minute scene.
Yeah,
and, it's pretty unnerving.
It really is. It is. It's definitely, if you're a horror fan, I added to your list if you haven't seen it and watch it. I highly recommend it. God, oof. The straw poll isn't working again, because I know I voted and it said no one voted.
Oh no.
So, do any last words on Phantasm before we ruin it?
Watch it. Watch the sequels. Yeah. Watch them all. They're great.
The remastered is on Amazon Prime, which is the version I watched.
Yes, that's what I watched as well. The first one is on Prime, but I think the other ones cost monies right now.
Probably. They're probably like on HBO too.
So 2 years ago, I rented each and every one of them, paid for them on Amazon Prime, and then last October they put them all on Prime for free.
Nice, and then they took them off.
Yeah, now they're off again.
Damn. All right, so let's just we'll say remake, and then do you have a dice?
Not within arm's reach.
I actually have dice in arm's reach, I think. Do I have a 12-sided dice? Let's see. I have my bag of D20s. They're not 12-sided dice, but they're D20s. So I have 12 genres on here. I will roll it. If it's above a 12, I will re-roll. This is how we will do it. I don't know where my 12-sided dice are. I actually have my 6, my 10, my 4, but I don't have my 12 or my 8 by me. Okay. 15, that's a re-roll. 16, that's a reroll. God, why can't I roll like this in D&D? 13, that's a reroll. Fucking damn it. 13 again, what the fuck? 4! It's a spy thriller noir.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so anyone new here, ruining movies, this is our bit, this is the gimmick. We ruin the movie by remaking it in a genre of your choice, but because the bar polling is not working, which hopefully when I stream on YouTube, next week, they have an internal polling thing, which I will probably make it much easier. We ruin it by remaking it. So we are remaking the 1979 horror classic Phantasm as a noir spy thriller.
Hell yeah.
So,
yes.
I think we keep the budget and we keep all the directors and everyone the same.
The whole cast too.
Yeah, normally we recast and try to get new directors and stuff, but I don't think we do because I want to see this independent indie film crew make a spy thriller and not a horror.
So the only thing that I think I would change
Yeah.
is their home and possibly their like background, right? Because it seems like I don't really know a lot, but it seems like they come from like a family of hunters or maybe like military men.
Yes.
I'm thinking
yes, they have a lot of guns.
You maybe keep the military men, or you make them more like government agent military men.
I think we make them like a secret, maybe like Area 52 Men in Black type people.
Okay, so you're leaning into the alien thing. I was at like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let's combine those ideas, right?
And we can hit the X-Files.
Okay. I just want them, instead of having a gun rack on the wall, to have like a cabinet that they open up that has like secret agent weapons.
How about this?
Shotguns.
How about this? Also, hello Mutiny. Thank you for that subscription. Oh, you said it so you won't thank me. I thanked you anyway. Get got. So I think we keep the family aspect, but maybe they were spies before and then they moved to this town and they thought they were giving up. They moved to this town to live a simple life. But there's something more sinister happening in this town. The tall man that's eluded them for their entire career is now in the town.
Yeah, maybe. So since it'd be the same story, they came from a spy family. So Mike and Jody's dad died, or their parents died doing spy shit.
Yeah.
So they moved to Reggie's town because they know he lives there.
Yes.
And Jody like has like a safe. You know how they have like any good spy keeps like something buried in his backyard.
Obviously, all the spies I know, they do that.
It's like John Wick. He's got to like bust it up with the fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah, and his hands have to bleed a little bit. Yeah.
Like Jody's got to bust it out. Like, time to go to work.
Hell yeah! It's kind of like a Fast and Furious thing. Hell yeah! He has to bust it out, and like, there has to be a shootout. There's not a shootout in the ring. Well, I guess kind of a little bit. But there's like an actual like shootout between the tall man and his little guys. I'm calling the zombies the little guys. And it's a noir too, so there's a little bit more mystery, a little bit more detective. I want to know more about the grandma and the daughter.
Oh yeah. They're funny.
And the lady in lavender. We don't learn too much about her.
Yeah,
Who's
she's
the
interesting.
Cult lady who stabs people.
Yeah. Yeah, see, doesn't that just make you want to watch more Phantasm?
It does. So yeah, we got this, and then Phantasm becomes like this new James Bond series in this universe, where like we keep getting more different people playing Reggie all throughout the years, and it's like it's supernatural alien James Bond.
Yeah, I was just gonna say James Bond meets aliens / supernatural. That's
which is just Men in Black. Now that I think about it. But not as funny. This is more serious.
We're remaking it now so that there can be a Men in Black remake in 20 years. Duh.
Absolutely. I think that's ruined. I think it's good. I think I would watch that. So we ruined it. Nice. Hell yeah.
Turned a good movie into a good movie.
Hell yeah, like we always do. So yeah, that is the podcast, everyone. That is Ruining Movies. You really should go check out Phantasm. I need to figure out why the polls aren't working by next week so we can actually do it, because the last few times either I've forgot to put out the polls or they just haven't worked. But yeah, that was the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the news. I hope you enjoyed what we said. Thank you guys, everyone in chat, for messaging us and giving your opinions tonight. I do truly, we both appreciate it very much.
I do.
So before I announce what we're watching for next week, do you still have HBO Max?
I do.
Cool. We're watching Malignant.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Awesome. Sweet.
I haven't seen it. It's literally came out September 10th. It is the new James Wan film. I know nothing about it. I only know... Oh, what? Go ahead.
I was just saying, me neither. We're on the same page.
Yes, and I just know that it is a very divisive film where half the people think it's stupid and half the people think it's great. So... we'll see where we lie.
I heard the word comedy getting thrown in the mix with this somewhere.
And I've heard like sci-fi. That's why I want to watch it. I literally don't know what it's about.
Okay, I'm interested. I have been interested. I keep seeing it on HBO Max, and I've been wanting to watch it. So this is good.
James Wan is a good director most of the time.
Yeah. Yep.
You mean Fast and Furious 7, the greatest film of all time, so...
All right, everybody, so let's move on to some plugs.
Yeah, let's do some plugs, everyone. Shayne, lead
We all know how I feel about Fast and Furious.
Mutiny says it's boring. Uh-oh.
I think that's how the Fast and Furious is, too.
Furious 7 rules. Do your plugs.
You can catch me live at twitch.tv, where I do comedy shows and talk shit about Fast and the Furious on a weekly basis. No, I'm just kidding. But I do play video games there, and I kind of do like this podcast thing sometimes. If you're here, you know about it. If you're not, you should. On Mondays, we play games. On the rest of the weeks, I sometimes decide to stream, and sometimes I don't. Keep an eye on the Discord. If you're not there, go there. It's down below on both of our pages. Moving on to Zach and his 17,000 plugs.
Yeah.
Ready? Go.
It's October, everybody. That means I am releasing 2 videos a day. One on my Farm Goat Plays YouTube channel, which go to Farm Goat Plays on YouTube, and you can see me play a bunch of indie horror games. The last game I played was a game made by a solo developer called Chucky that is based on, you know what? Chucky. It is pretty good. I've also played some other very terrifying games, and also some very fun ones, like Buff Imposter, where you get punched in the face by the Buff Imposter of Among Us. Good stuff. If you want to hear more of my opinions on films, because duh, I don't know why I said it like that. I meant to play that off sarcastically, but that came out really cocky. Go to the Known Unknown, my new, well, not new, but my relaunched YouTube page, where I am covering a different horror movie every day. So some of you in chat already said you guys watched my Phantasm movie review before the podcast, so it's like a little treat to have before you watch the podcast, where I say even more things.
I had the same little treat.
It's a little
it was
treat.
Delicious.
Little
you should eat it yourself.
Yeah.
Not you.
I mean, I made the treat. Yeah. Also, the Dummies play. Me and Shayne play on Monday. Yesterday we play Forewarned, it's like Phasmophobia but with mummies. There was many times where we screamed last night. That game is scary.
I was scared.
That game was scared. That video will be up soon. Also, I might stream again on YouTube on Farm Goat Plays, so I might be on Twitch, I might not be. We're definitely going to try to stream the podcast on YouTube next week, because I think it's very nice if we can record the podcast and it's just on YouTube. I don't have to do any extra steps, and I gotta say, even though we're streaming on Twitch right now, so it feels like sacrilegious that I'm saying this, YouTube has like some pretty nice tools on it to stream on, which felt really nice. But you didn't hear that from me.
You didn't hear ear.
You didn't hear it ear. Also, go to our Ruining Movies YouTube page. You'll find all that stuff. And yeah, that's all my plugs. But go follow my YouTube pages, because there's gonna be a lot of content this month. It's October, everyone. I hope you guys go watch scary movies. Go hang out in a graveyard. You know what it is. And yeah, we'll be back next week with the new James Wan film. We already have people in chat saying it's boring. Like I said, this is a very divisive film.
Damn,
some people love it, some people hate it. I think I saw the Kill Count Dead Meat. That's her name, right?
Yeah,
they liked it, but then I also saw other people who also are like horror reviews who didn't like it. Yes, in YouTube you can delete your comments, which Mutiny was having a lot of fun with yesterday. So that's a plus. Nice. But yeah, we're getting out of here. I'm done talking. I need to go watch more horror films. So yeah, bye everyone. Be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes.
Hell yeah. See you guys next week. Peace.
Bye. It's October. Join a cult, everybody.
Do that.